Hello and welcome to QUTV News This Week. I'm Michael Langford. We're in week 4 of classes on campus. For an update as to how everything is going, President Brian McGee is here. Dr. McGee, thank you for joining us.
Michael, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So with this being an election year, how is the university allowing students to vote on campus? And if not on campus, where can they vote?
Well, students have the option either to vote at home in their home state, perhaps by absentee ballot or by driving home. We've had students do that at every place I've ever worked. We also have the opportunity for students who register by the deadline to vote here in Illinois. There'll be an event later this month, September 17th, I believe, when there'll be some educational information provided to students. And we want to answer any questions students have about voting. If students are here, we want them to have the opportunity to vote, whether here or elsewhere.
Sounds good. Now, on the sports side of things, obviously, it's iffy on whether sports are going to be happening this year or not. But if the NCAA decides to have sports teams be able to have their games, how is this university going to allow students to participate in the game events?
Well, first of all, Michael, let's begin by saying I am very optimistic about our ability to allow students to compete. We're having that this fall with cross country. And our goal is to allow conference competition for every sport in the spring as long as we can do so safely. It's a complicated question because there are 4 different inputs on who can be in the stands and who can be on the field. We have guidance from the NCAA. We also have guidance from the state of Illinois. We have guidance from our athletic conference, the GOVC, and of course we have to make our own decisions about what's safe for our student athletes and for folks in the stands. But we're working hard to create a safe environment and to allow for every competitive opportunity for our students.
Now, we've noticed more and more students beginning to eat in the cafeteria, which in the beginning of the year, nobody was eating in the cafeteria. Do you feel that we're ready to start to move toward a level of normalcy on campus?
I think for a long time, normal is going to be a word we put scare quotes around. Things are going to feel more or less normal, but they're not going to feel quite normal for some time to come. Coronavirus, COVID-19 is going to be with us for a while. This last Thursday, we were able to open up a limited amount of seating in the cafeteria, as well as in the level below that in the student center. And our goal is to create opportunities for students to eat other than in their in their residence hall, because after all, you can only eat outside for so long before it's too cold to do so. Right. And so we're trying to move in that way. We're working with the Adams County Health Department to make sure we create opportunities for people to eat indoors that are safe. And as long as people follow the guidance that we provide, which is pretty strict, we'll be able to provide for some indoor seating. But in terms of normalcy overall, that's a ways away.
So, what other changes should we expect to see in the coming weeks as we try to move past this pandemic?
Well, we're not going to move past this pandemic during fall 2020. We are months away from having a vaccine, maybe more than a few months. So we're going to be continuing to physically distance, to wear a mask, to use good hand hygiene, and to follow the basic rules we've already put in place until we have much better therapeutics or a reliable vaccine. And we need to be realistic about the fact that things aren't going to change tomorrow or next week or next month.
Now, this pandemic has obviously, ended the last semester, and at first a lot of people were not taking this seriously, not just, my demographic as far as age is concerned, but the country in general. Do you feel like we are finally taking this as seriously as it needs to be taken?
I won't be quite comfortable until I'm convinced that everyone within a 100-mile radius around Quincy, Illinois is taking this very seriously and following all the good public health guidance that we have. And I want to give full credit to Adams County, to the mayor, to other elected officials who've worked hard to encourage good and safe behavior, and I think we're working hard here at QU to be a safe community. But it is a work in progress, and we need to keep being diligent. Sometimes you can be successful, as we've been for the last few weeks at QU, at keeping our cases down. Right now we have 0 active infections on the Quincy University campus, to the best of our knowledge at least. But that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, and it will only, and our infection count will only stay low if we continue to follow this good public health guidelines, the guidance, and wear the mask, stay distant, use the hand hygiene, all those basics that are easy to say but are hard to practice every time we're in public.
And one more question right before we go, sort of a hypothetical. Say that a vaccine is made to combat COVID-19. And if it is available on QU, will all students be required to get the vaccine?
You know, Michael, it's too early to answer that question definitively. I think there's going to be an excellent argument for doing so if we have a safe and effective vaccine, and I know none will be released in the United States until it is safe and effective. But we haven't seen the details of the vaccine. We don't know how effective it will be overall. We don't know how effective it will be for certain populations. We need much more information before we could answer that question. But remember, when you went to school as a child, were required to have vaccinations against certain diseases, and it's certainly within the right and the scope of Quincy University to make that decision later on if we believe it protects the health and safety of our community.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
And if you have any more questions, email us at qumedia@quincy.edu. You can also follow us at qumedia.net or on all of our QUTV social media platforms. For QUTV News, I'm Michael Langford. Stay safe and wear your mask.